Here's the truth of what's happening in the world right now. And Gen Z is the first generation where they're same age as their parents. They're making less money, not more.
The average millennial is 36 years old. They can't afford to buy the house.
When are we just going to admit that the American dream, it doesn't exist anymore? I'm 50 years old.
Millennials are working more and earning less and living worse than their parents. So what is left for the American dream? Before we jump in, if you enjoy content like this, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here, because as I'm working toward 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you makes a difference for me, a really big difference for me. And thank you so much for your support. Well, now let's dive into the video today.
Here's the truth of what's happening in the world right now. And Gen Z is the first generation where they're same age as their parents. They're making less money, not more. Problem is their university degrees are 3 to 4x more expensive. Oh, by the way, so is housing. Wait a second. Inflation is at a degree in which my dollar today is worth even substantially less than even 5 years ago. On top of that, we have all these jobs open. 7 million working age men supposedly are unemployed at this moment right now, even though the jobs report says that there's so many jobs. Are the jobs real? Well, largely not. Or their public sector, their government jobs. And so young people are like, wait a second, I can't live, I can't eat, groceries more expensive. And that's real, actually. And so the people that are making fun of young people in TikToks, when they cry about their job being difficult, I don't really vibe with that, because the math says it's hard right now.
The average millennial is 36 years old. They can't afford to buy the house. So therefore, their future self is poorer. They have less savings. They've got debts from university. So they don't have the ability to get out of this trap. And then what we are finding is, because of this, they're having to live with other people into their 30s. They don't have kids and they don't get married. And these numbers have collapsed since 1983. You've seen these numbers come down from people living on their own. So i.e., you could get your job, get yourself an apartment, has gone from 80% to 62%. You're seeing the marriage rate halve. You're seeing the home ownership rate go from 50% to 30%. These are all expressions of the same problems, which is people know their future is fucked and they can feel it. They have a sense of desperation. You see then the same cohort of kids in their 30s doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. That's not because they want to. Nobody wants to work 12-hour days, 7 days a week. It's because they have to. And their parents, the baby boomers, who are in their 70s and retiring, never had that. They were the richest generation the world had ever seen. So this is the first generation that won't be as rich as their parents. And that's a weird thing, because we're all used to human progress, the American dream. If the American dream is, well, you'd never be as wealthy as your parents, and they were middle-class people, and I'm now less well off than them, that's kind of fucked.
When are we just going to admit that the American dream, it doesn't exist anymore? I'm 50 years old, and I started working when I was about 11. I did many things to earn money. But at some point, we have to start telling the truth. The pie is separated. The top 20% of people, sometimes they're born into it. The majority of the times, they're born into families of just better. They have opportunities that we don't have. And at 50 years old, I am tired of sitting and pretending that the American dream even exists. It's a system that is set up to fail from the very beginning. I think that literally there are 20% of people that are going to have it, and the other 80 are going to search for it. I had college loans until I was 39 years old. And at 50, I'm no closer to retirement than I was in my 30s.
About a year ago, I posted a video saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to find a job again because I had been looking for so long and no one had given me anything. This is what has happened since I posted that video. 2 months after I posted that video, I got a job offer. 20 hours a week, $16 an hour. 5 months after I started that job, the entire company shut down. 2 months after that company shuts down, I get another job. I'm a dog walker. The most they can give me is about $300 of work per week. So I get another job. I am a petition circulator. I work 40 hours a week, $19 an hour. I'm great at it. This is amazing. I'm finally making a decent amount of money, and the Florida government passes a law that all but bans petition circulating. So now I am back to dog walking, which again pays about $300 a week. I have a bachelor's degree. I have 4 years of experience in mental health, 10 years of experience in childcare. I have experience in higher education, aquatics, food service. When I was in high school, I tutored refugees in English, and I speak French. And I do not believe that there is any job that I am above. I'm telling you, I got rejected by Taco Bell and Sam's Club.
There was a time when job was enough. You could pay your bills, raise a family, and even put something away for retirement. But today, that verse in America is slipping away. If you have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat, if groceries, housing, insurance, and basic living costs feel out of your reach, you are not alone. This isn't just a rough patch. For many, it's the new normal, and that is not right. The middle class, the heart of this country, is disappearing. What we're seeing now is a widening gap. The wealthy keep climbing, and everyone else is struggling to hang on. Just take a drive through any major city. It's hard not to notice the border of homes, the rising crime, the tent cities. Poverty is no longer hidden. It is everywhere. And even outside the cities, people are feeling it. Higher bills, fewer opportunities, and a growing sense that things are improving. Yes, technology is racing forward. But what about quality of life? Are we safer, happier, more secure? I would say no. Some families, like mine, are choosing to step away from that chaos. We've moved toward a more self-sufficient lifestyle, living rural, learning traditional skills, growing our own food. Is not always easy, but it's empowering. And with the way things are heading, it might be one of the few ways to take back control. I often ask myself, what will this country look like in 10 years? Not just politically, but economically, socially, culturally. Will our children and grandchildren be better off, or are we just trying to survive in a system that's no longer working for most Americans? I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. Ignoring what's happening won't make it go away. It's time for us to prepare to rethink how we live, how we spend, and what we truly value. If you've been feeling that same pressure, that is same unease, maybe it is time to make a few changes. Downsize, relocate, start learning how to live with less and build something more stable. Because what's coming next? It might demand it.